Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon Sets video. Today's video is going to be all about Pelipper, so let's get started by taking a look at this Pokemon's typing, abilities, and stats. So to start things off, Pelipper is a water flying type Pokemon introduced into Generation 3, and is personally one of my favorite 3rd generation Pokemon. As for its abilities, the first one that it gets is known as Keen Eye, which is an ability that makes it so that you cannot have your accuracy lowered by any of your opponent's attacks, as well as potentially a secondary effect of one of your opponent's moves, such as Night Daze or something like that. Also, new to 6th generation, Keen Eye actually ignores the evasion boosts of your opponent if they decide to go for a move like Double Team or Minimize, or have an ability such as Sand Veil. Now granted, those types of moves are banned in competitive play, but it is still a really cool addition to this ability, giving it some more use than just not having this Pokemon's accuracy being lowered. But as for its second ability, Pelipper is lucky enough to get the Rain-Dish ability, which is its hidden ability, which allows Pelipper to regain a little bit of HP at the end of every turn, similar to the way Leftovers works, but only under the effects of rain. So this can be a very useful ability to use on Pelipper if you are going to use it on a rain team, and also possibly even be used in combination with Leftovers to allow you to recover a ton of HP at the end of every turn. But as for its stats, Pelipper unfortunately has a very low base 60 HP, however its defense is a really nice base 100 and also has a pretty decent special defense being at base 70 as well, meaning that if you would like to, Pelipper can actually prove to be a fairly bulky Pokemon, especially because it does have access to Roost and moves like Scald to potentially burn your opponent, crippling their physical attack. So even though its HP stat is fairly low compared to others, it still can definitely hold its own in battle if you choose to use it in a defensive way. But as for its offensive stats, it has only base 50 physical attack, which is pretty much not usable under most circumstances, meaning that more often than not you're going to be wanting to go with its base 85 special attack, especially because the majority of moves that it does learn are special attacks, and they also are very powerful special attacks such as Hurricane, Hydro Pump, and Blizzard, among other things. And lastly, Pelipper is a fairly slow Pokemon, being only base 65 speed, but this Pokemon does actually have access to both Tailwind and Agility to remedy that if you would like to use an offensive Pelipper that makes use of a speed boosting move. But with that, let's take a look at the first set that I have for you in this video. So for this first set, we're going to start off by giving Pelipper a Calm Nature to increase its special defense and lower its physical attack, and then going with the Keen Eye ability. As for the EVs, we're going to put 248 into its HP to give it its highest HP possible. That is also an odd number because Stealth Rock is a bit of an issue for Pelipper due to its flying typing. Then we're going to put 248 EVs into its special defense to give it almost max special defense, and then 12 EVs into its speed to give it a decent amount of speed investment, allowing it to outspeed other base 65 speed Pokemon that you would normally speed tie with. However, it is important to note that at level 50, if you are going to be using this Pelipper over Wi-Fi on your X and Y cart, you want to move 4 of those special defense EVs into your HP to make sure that you still have that odd HP number. So at level 50, you want to have 252 EVs into your HP, 244 into your special defense, and then 12 into speed. And for the item on this set, we're going to be going with Leftovers to allow Pelipper to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn. But for the moves, since this is a more defensive Pelipper, the first one that we're going to run on this set is going to be Defog, which is an amazing moves generation that now gets rid of all entry hazards and everything on the field, just completely wipes it clean, and gives Pelipper a lot of utility that it previously did not have. And if you were wondering why we're not running Rain-Dish on this set, it is because of this move, as Rain-Dish is illegal or incompatible with Defog because Defog is a 4th gen move tutor or TM move, one or the other, that Pelipper cannot use with the Rain-Dish ability, so just keep that in mind. But as for the other moves on the set, we're going to be running Scald as a nice, powerful water type move that also has a 30% chance to burn your opponent, which could potentially obviously cripple any physical attackers and allow Pelipper to take hits even better. And then we're going to either run a secondary stab move in Air Slash, which also has a really nice chance to flinch, or Knockoff as a way to get rid of an opponent's item. Obviously, Knockoff being, in my opinion, one of the best moves in the game right now, so why not run it on a Pokemon that can learn it, and also allow it to potentially cripple Pokemon by getting rid of their item. And then for the last move on the set, we're going to allow Pelipper to recover a bunch of HP whenever we use this move in the form of Roost, also removing your flying typing, which could potentially be useful if you are outspeeding an opponent that might be trying to hit you with a super effective move from your flying side, such as a rock type move, but you Roost and then are no longer weak to it, which is also really cool, and why those 12 speed EVs can be very important. But overall, this is just a really nice defensive set to run on Pelipper, with a lot of utility in the form of getting rid of hazards, burning things, and even potentially getting rid of items or flinch haxing your opponent if you go with Air Slash. And as for the final set of this video, we're going to start by giving Pelipper either a modest nature to increase its special attack but lower its physical attack, or a timid nature to increase its speed but lower its physical attack. And for the ability, we're going to go with Raindish, but if you do happen to have a Keen Eye Pelipper with either one of these natures, it'll work just as well. It's just that if you do want to use this on a rain team, it works incredibly effectively, especially with the Raindish ability. But for the EVs, we're going to start by putting 252 into its special attack, 4 into its special defense, and 252 EVs into its speed to max out both its special attack and speed. And for the item, we can either go with a Life Orb to increase the damage of all of Pelipper's attacks while having a 10% recoil, an Expert Belt to increase the damage of all of your attacks that hit your opponent super effectively, or a Wide Lens to increase the accuracy of all of your moves. And as for those moves, the first one that we're going to go with on this set is going to be Agility, which is going to be able to boost Pelipper's speed by 2 stages. Also, if you would like to maybe have a little bit more team support but not a permanent stat boost, you can also run Tailwind in this spot as a way to simultaneously boost Pelipper's speed, but if you need to switch out, boost the speed of your teammates until the Tailwind peters out. But with the Agility or Tailwind, once you have boosted your speed, you'll now be incredibly fast and able to dish out a lot of damage to your opponent with all of your really powerful moves. So the first thing that we're going to be going with on the set is going to be Hurricane to be your main stab flying type attack. Now if you do use this set under a rain team or even potentially a gravity team, Hurricane will always be accurate, and also obviously keep in mind that if you are using it on a rain team, Raindish also comes into play here where you can obviously recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn. But otherwise, obviously Wide Lens is there to give it a little bit more accuracy if you would like to, instead of running the Life Orb or Expert Belt. But along with that, we'll also run our secondary stab attack in the form of Hydro Pump, which is going to be very powerful and give you some really good coverage along with Hurricane. There's very few things in the game that can resist this coverage, the main one in my head being Lantern or Rotom Wash, because Rotom Wash. But with that, also we're going to run a third move on the set, which is going to be our Ice type move, which is going to give us a ton of really good coverage overall, allowing us to hit a ton of things super effectively and also pretty much anything for neutral damage except a few other Pokemon. So either Ice Beam or Blizzard will work really well in this last slot. Blizzard obviously being the more powerful option, but because Pelipper's special attack isn't super good, Blizzard might be a better option if you want to do a lot more damage, and obviously running that with a Wide Lens can be very good, but Ice Beam is obviously more the reliable option. But the great thing about this set is that it can work by itself, it can work on a rain team, or it can even work on a gravity team, making it a very versatile set and a very powerful way to use Pelipper in battle. But anyways everybody, that is it for this video, so I want to thank you all for watching, and as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.